Now, let me hand over to Professor Gerry Stimson, who I hope will reveal who will be the recipient of this year's Michael Russell Award.
Thank you, Grzegorz. There's something very heavy in this box, so I'm going to just put it down for the moment. Thank you, Anne. Congratulations to the scholars, and thank you, Konstantinos, for a truly inspiring presentation tonight. It's great to be back in Warsaw. It's great to be online. To the many people who can't be here, I'm led to believe there are people in over 70 countries who are tuning in to GFN online. So at this stage, it's a great pleasure to host another highlight of the GFN conference, which is the presentation of the Michael Russell Award. It honors the work and memory of Mike Russell, who was one of the pioneers of the study of smoking behavior, and it recognizes his insights into the nature of smoking and how to reduce the toll from smoking. As Mike established, it's all about the nicotine. Many of you will be familiar with that quotation from his article in the British Medical Journal in 1976, where he said that people smoke for the nicotine, but they die from the tar. So separating the nicotine from the dirty delivery system is key. He also realized that there were simple consumer-led possibilities to help the switch from smoking. That quote that Konstantinos put up from Mike Russell, talking about palatable and acceptable products actively promoted on the open market to enable them to compete with tobacco products. So that's the essence of harm reduction. This pretty simple, straightforward, consumer-led process. So some years back, the Russell family kindly agreed to the establishment of an award in Michael Russell's memory, which is presented each year here at GFN. And the award is established to honor someone who's made a substantial and innovative contribution to the science and understanding of safer nicotine products and tobacco harm reduction. Before we move on to the announcement of this year's award, I'd like to thank Dr. Lars Ramstrong, who was the recipient of the inaugural Michael Russell Award in 2018 for his meticulous analysis of the epidemiology of snus use in his home country, Sweden. Earlier today, Lars allowed us to host the launch of a new piece of research that he conducted during the pandemic, which demonstrates that the national availability of snus is clearly associated with lower rates of mortality attributable to tobacco, whilst country-level implementation of the WHO tobacco control measures is not. You can watch his presentation on the GFN website at gfn.events/new-research. That's GFN events/new research. Thank you, Lars, for the opportunity to host the launch of this revealing study. So now, it gives me great pleasure to announce the winner of the 2022 Michael Russell Award. The 2022 award goes to Professor Brad Rodu. You can stand next to me whilst I embarrass you with some nice comments about your work. Brad's a professor of medicine at the University of Louisville in Kentucky in the US. He's the first holder of an endowed chair in tobacco harm reduction research at the James Graham Brown Cancer Center. For the last 3 decades, he's been involved in research and policy development regarding tobacco harm reduction. And in his early work, he made the public health case for US smokeless tobacco as a way for adult smokers to continue consuming nicotine outside of a medical context and using a product not manufactured by a pharmaceutical company. As he found out, and as many of us have since found out in this field, this view didn't play well with the wider health and tobacco control community. His work, and with his colleagues, on US smokeless tobacco shows that harm reduction options are often kept hidden from smokers. His research has focused on the constituents of smokeless tobacco products, smoking cessation trials using smokeless products, epidemiological studies on smoking and smokeless tobacco use, and perceptions of health risks associated with tobacco products. But his work hasn't remained inaccessible in inaccessible medical journals, in other academic journals. In his 1995 book, for example, way before we had online access to information about safer nicotine products, his book entitled For Smokers Only, How Smokeless Tobacco Can Save Your Life, popularized the evidence. And of course, Brad's work will also be known to many of you through his blog spot on tobacco truth. We've got two organizations with truth in the title, but Brad's blog spot is the true one rather than the other one that claims to be truth. It's an amazing repository criticizing bad science and bad policy. Many of you will know how he exposed the fundamental errors in Stanton Glantz's study on vaping and heart attacks, which was published in the Journal of the American Heart Association. Glantz claimed that vaping led to heart attacks. Brad dug into the raw data and found that at least 11 of the 38 heart attack victims had suffered their heart attacks before they started vaping, some as many as 10 years before. So Glantz would have us believe that e-cigarettes are so bad that they can cause health problems back in time, even before people start vaping. So Brad's challenge with other tobacco researchers led to that journal article being retracted, and that's no mean feat. It's a rare but a significant event and triumph. So Brad epitomizes everything that's good in the field of tobacco harm reduction: follow the evidence, popularize the evidence, and tenaciously criticize fake science and flawed policy. So Brad, on behalf of everyone here and those watching online, and all those around the world who know about your work, I'm pleased to present you with the 2022 Michael Russell Award. This will weigh down your luggage on your flight home. It's very I'll put it here for you for now. So, thank you. Let me go this way.
Gerry said it was okay to make a couple comments, but I understand I'm nervous because I understand I'm the only thing separating you all from the party, so I will make it very brief. I'm very grateful to all the GFN staff and everyone who organizes this meeting. I attended in 2019. I found it absolutely fantastic. And I especially want to note Gerry, Patty, and Jess as far as their cooperation and their work in getting me here and this award. I also want to do something a little different. I want to have this honor be shared by 4 people that you won't even know. They are people who supported me from the beginning and for many, many years, often without compensation. The first is a man named Bill Sklar. You've never heard his name, but you've always seen his work, because Bill was a silent editor on my book. He has literally edited every single publication I've made to newspapers and all 660 plus blog posts. He's been the editor that's kept me in check. And he's just a wonderful friend and colleague. He worked for free from about 1994 to 1999. And in order to do so, I promised him all the royalties from my book. And you know how much money he made from those. Absolutely zero. But Bill's been a wonderful friend. The second is Don Miller. He is a medical oncologist, and he was at UAB, the University of Alabama, Birmingham, when I was. And I brought him my first draft of my first paper, and he thought it was remarkable, and he promised to help. And he helped me there for 5 years, and then he moved to become director of the Cancer Center at the University of Louisville. And he recruited me there because when he arrived, he could not believe the lines of patients with lung cancer in Kentucky, the heaviest smoking state in the United States. And he said, Brad, we need new thinking to try to prevent all of these diseases and deaths. And so he recruited me to the University of Louisville, where I got to spend 100% of my time, as opposed to 50, doing only tobacco harm reduction research. The third person is Philip Cole. He is a star cancer epidemiologist who was recruited to UAB from Harvard, where he was chairman. Phil came to UAB about the same time I did, and when I wrote my first paper, I gave it to the Cancer Center director. He wanted to get rid of me pretty quickly. So he said, take it to Phil Cole. He knew Phil Cole had no tolerance for BS. And so I took it to Phil Cole with a red pen attached, and Phil took 3 weeks, and he came back and he said, Dr. Rodu, I've read your paper. I can't destroy it, so I'm here to help you. Those are famous last words that you can say to me. And for the next 20 years, he helped me. He gave me a PhD without the degree in epidemiology. He taught me so much. He was a remarkable collaborator and serves as a co-author on many of my papers. And finally, when Phil retired and he unlisted his telephone number, no, just kidding. I had to search for other technical expertise. And so I looked and looked for an epidemiologist, public health someone who could help me with the more technical matters. No luck. Nobody wanted to work in this area, so I turned to the economics field. They're more driven toward numbers with less emotion. And I found a brilliant economics researcher by the name of Nantaporn Plurfenswat. She's originally Thai. She did a PhD here at the University of Chicago, Illinois, or University of Illinois, Chicago. A wonderful researcher, a great communicator. And for those in the field professionally, I want to warn you, don't even think about trying to recruit her, okay? I'm not going to let her go. So those are the 4 people, and they've been a marvelous team to help me accomplish whatever we've been able to accomplish. Now, I want to say my reaction, I was stunned when Gerry wrote me that first email and told me about the award. I was absolutely stunned to think that my name might be in the same universe as Michael Russell's. I couldn't believe it. As a pathologist, when I first came into this field, I had no background in epidemiology, tobacco, public health, or any of the fields that you all are in. And so I had to learn very quickly. But I knew one thing. I knew how to list in my publications great references to classic work. And in that first publication, I listed 2 of Michael Russell's classic citations in The Lancet. He was brilliant, and he had much to offer. And then when I wrote another paper in 2006, the number was up to 4 publications, 3 Lancet, 1 British Medical Journal. It's amazing that at that time that I would ever think that I would be in any way eligible for this kind of award or follow people like Lars Ramström and David Abrams. But I'm very, very grateful. And, you know, just one more thing. I said to Gerry, I'm going to give you another week because I want you, you know, I'm an American and we challenge elections. Just saying, okay? But I told Gerry that I wanted to flip the script and challenge my own election to this award to make sure it was accurate, okay, and valid. And it was. And, you know, the other thing I'm thinking, well, you know, you get awards like this when your family's voting, okay? And I have a brother and a devoted wife and 2 devoted children. It would have been a tie vote at best. I wouldn't have won. So I'm really, really grateful and so happy that I've received this award. And now it's time to party. Thank you very much.
You forgot something. Oh, thank you, Brad. That's great. Thank you very much. Okay, so that's the end of this lovely opening session for the conference, and very soon we have the conference party. Some of you who've been here before will know where it is, and you can help people who haven't been here before to find it, but it's in the Sphinx restaurant, which is in the same block as the Marriott. And I think probably the easy way to find it is to sort of go out the main entrance of the Marriott, turn left again, and then look for the sign for the Sphinx. It's within about 200 meters. And to gain entry, you do need to wear your conference badge. As you can see, I've got mine on here. So please wear your conference badge to gain admission, or you have to argue with the bouncers and have to fetch somebody else to let you in. So thank you for being here this evening. Thank you for all the speakers tonight for such a great start. And have a great time here in Warsaw and for the rest of the conference. Thank you.